Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.
Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. This episode is brought to you by Amplified Marketing Group. They specialize in affordable mobile solutions that will get you noticed and help you retain customers. Check them out at www.amplified.marketing. Well, hello, everybody. We're so glad that you are here with us today. And I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce one of my favorite people in the whole world, my sister, Trisha.
Hello, everyone. It's me again.
So I thought that it would be kind of fun. The work that we do with Hello Gorgeous is a nonprofit, and part of the work that we do is fundraising and events. And so I thought we would talk a little bit about that today. But before we get into that, so I'm very excited to have you here. So tell our listeners a little bit about Hello Gorgeous. What do we do?
Sure. Hello Gorgeous is a nonprofit organization, and we restore the beauty that cancer steals. Our goal is to help any woman battling any type of cancer smile at her reflection in the mirror, no matter what that looks like.
And yes, and due to COVID, we've done a little bit of shifting. The years ago, the main thing that we did were makeovers. And over 14 years, we've really evolved into doing some online stuff, and we've got some hope chests and different ways for people to support loved ones battling cancer. So I feel like what you said, it was great. It's an umbrella, and Hello Gorgeous is under the umbrella, but now we have a lot of different pillars under the umbrella as well.
That's right. Well, and it is so important because every woman's needs are different. So there may be a woman who needs to have that surprise makeover, and that would be fitting to her and to her soul. Yet then there's someone else who maybe is more of an introvert that still needs your support and still needs to know what they don't know. So the Hope Chest would be awesome for them, or the online course, because that has them sitting in a comfortable space in their home, wherever it is, with you on their computer or on their iPad, talking them through what it is that they should be expecting or could be expecting. Your books are also great because they are easy to use. One is simply, chicken soup for the, heart style soul stories. And the other one is a how-to guide. So we have so many different ways and so many opportunities to serve women battling cancer and for their loved ones to be able to say, oh my gosh, my loved one is going through cancer. I don't know what the heck to do. But now there's resources. They can purchase a resource for their loved one and feel like they're helping them, that they're doing their part to be able to help their loved one go to the grocery store, go to the soccer game if possible. And yes, the online community with COVID, we did have to shift. We had to make some major shifts, but we also had to make those shifts to be more online. So the ladies knew that we were there. Cancer has not stopped. And we have to continue to pursue new ways and new avenues so that every woman who needs our resources or needs our services, we have them there for them.
That's right. So tell us or share with our audience, what is your role with Hello Gorgeous?
Well, I am the director of operations, and that really just means that I wear a lot of hats. It depends on what day it is. I may be in the office doing office work, or I'm running around getting things for an event that we're having or preparing for a makeover. There are times where during COVID, I have been putting on the gloves after my hands are sanitized and making the notes on masks and taking them to the post office, like whatever it takes. But yeah, so with being the director of operations, it's a lot of different things, but it's all worth it.
You pretty much handle the day-to-day operation now of the organization. If anybody called, they talk to you, but you are I give the direction of the ship, and you make the ship go that way.
That's right. Well, we have a really great team that helps us.
We have a great executive team.
We wouldn't be able to do it without the volunteers that we have and the executive team to be able to do it. And we all work really well together.
We do.
But we all know, where our lane is now. And that's really, really helpful because we all know, including myself, you are the leader of this organization. I don't want your job. I want you to do your job well. And the way that you're able to do your job well is for you to know what lane is best for you to be in and allow you to stay there. Yes. And then just a lot of the day to day operations, it really just comes back to just good customer service, no matter what that looks like. We always have said we're servant leaders. So it just comes back to me, finding the one thing we say at Hello Gorgeous, everyone, just so you know, is that we want to find the yes. We want to find the yes in everything possible. That if you call or you email and you need something, we're going to do our best to be able to make it happen. And that we always under promise and over deliver.
That's exactly the words that we stand by. And actually, well, we had an event. So the reason that we thought we would do this podcast today is because it isn't just about helping the women and doing the things that we do, is that we've become incredible event planners.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I had the opportunity to own a business in the profit world and then start a nonprofit. And they're two completely different things. And when I had a business, when we had it in the profit world, we owned a salon. And if business got a little low or money got a little tight, I could run a retail sale or, talk to somebody about the opportunity for some highlights or a new color, whatever that looks like. Or I could book another Saturday, one Saturday a month and make the extra money. Well, in the nonprofit world, you can't do that. I can't physically go into people's pockets and reach into their pockets and grab the money out. So we've had to become very creative event planners in order to be able to fund the mission and to be able to provide the services and the different resources that we have for the women that we serve. And I remember in the beginning, I was so driven to help women with cancer. I want them to smile when they look in the mirror, because that's not something a woman with cancer does, because the cancer treatment can change her appearance so drastically.
Right.
But I want to make sure that she can smile when she looks in the mirror. And I remember in the beginning when we were having to talk about, well, we've got to have an event to bring money in order to do this. And I remember it was like a 5-year-old, and I was like, I stomped my feet and I'm like, I am not an event planner. I am somebody that needs to make sure that these women have the resources that they need. And you know what? I've become a really good event planner.
Right. Well, and just so
we've had no choice.
That's right. Well, just so our listeners know, we don't get any grants. We haven't gotten grants to this point with the 14 years that we've been in business. The few that we went after, I'm not sure what happened, or they're just so detailed. And so we don't have that as a resource coming into our nonprofit. So we do work off of donations. We do work off of fundraising, and then and selling merchandise. But that's how we're able to keep serving our women.
That's right. And and to your point of the grants, it's just changed. It's not the way it used to be. Years and years and years ago, it was that you could get a lot of money for very little work. Now it's the opposite. You get a little money for a ton of work, and all the red tape, it takes so much out of you in order to be able to get that. So for our organization, it's just not served our needs.
That's right. Yeah, we would need even in the future, we would need someone to have that solely be their job.
And to stay on top of it.
Yes, absolutely. And they would have nothing else on their plate.
That's right. So we've become very good fundraisers. So we thought it would be fun to share with you 3 keys to our success in fundraising. So before we do that, we wanted to share some of the fundraisers and the fun fundraisers that we've held, because it really has been trial and error. And we've made some mistakes, but we've also had some pretty big successes.
Oh, absolutely.
So we wanted to be able to share that. So the first event that I have down here is the comedy luncheon, because that was really our first kind of our first big event. So talk a little bit. So the very first one that we had was at Blackthorn.
It was a smaller event. I believe we had 250 people max, if that. And we had our MC, and we had a comedian, with it being a comedy luncheon. And so it was a lovely afternoon for ladies only. We're the ones who were able to attend. And then we had a silent auction. And so it went so well that we decided to do like 7 more years of those.
And your husband kind of started something at that one event that kind of kept on through all of our comedy luncheons.
Yes. Well, so we're standing at the place that we had it, and I went over to the doors and I started to greet people. And of course, who doesn't love to you hear the words "hello, gorgeous"? Well, I had gotten called away for something, so I said, "Babe, Dan is my husband. I'm like, babe, will you go and open the doors for the ladies?" Well, of course, here he is in a suit. He's fabulous. If you know Dan, he is absolutely handsome and he's amazing. So he opens the door with "hello, gorgeous," and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" And that became one of the biggest things that they truly walked into the event. And because they were told, "hello, gorgeous," at the beginning, it now radiated through their body. And they were like, "well, I am here." Like, and every single lady who came through, they felt the same way. So, yes, that went on to be quite a major part of the other comedy luncheons that we had. Then it was not only Dan, then it was a team of what we called escorts, to be able to be there to escort ladies to their tables then. And then we had other fun things that we used with them. But it was really cool because of the comedy luncheon being a ladies only luncheon. This was a way to get the guys involved and to participate. And you did have to dress up. So the gentlemen had to be in suits. And so it was a lot of fun.
And I feel like, because it was a ladies only event and we were allowed, there are many women that don't get to be greeted with "hello, gorgeous," but it goes to, what we do with all of our events, including the one that we just had, which we'll talk about in a second. But we want to make our attendees have as much of an experience at our event as we do a woman battling cancer if she's chosen for a makeover.
Absolutely.
It's all about the experience. We wanted to make sure that when you attended our event on a Saturday, that Monday when you went back to work, you were still telling all your coworkers about our event. So it was the time and effort and energy that went into this event. So we went from 250 people. I think the last comedy luncheon that we had was 750 women.
Right.
400 auction items.
Yep.
There was a huge stage with 4 10-foot screens that hung above the stage.
Yeah, it was in the round.
It was in the round. Yep. So the stage was in the center, and then all of the tables. So there wasn't a bad seat in the house.
Correct.
And my nightmare was we did assigned seating. And so like for 5-6 months, I would live with a seating chart taped to my dining room wall in my dining room, so that, and we knew who was sitting at each and every table. So, when they came up, we had a concierge that when the escort came up, the woman came up, we knew where her table was at, and the escort, it was just, when I think back to what we orchestrated through that.
Oh yeah.
So share so we did that for probably about 7 years. What was of all of those, what was your favorite comedy luncheon?
So with the escorts, they also, Michael, Kim's late husband, loved to perform. He absolutely loved, and the ladies loved him to perform because he was an amazing performer. He had a beautiful voice and he was just awesome. So they did a montage is one of my favorites. I have two. So they did this song montage. And so it was like, what was the name of it? It was
Evolution of Dance.
Yes. So it was, little snippets of certain songs. And so it started like with the 50s and 60s, I believe, of like Twist
and Shout.
Yes.
Yep.
And so several guys were on stage. And of course, they had to they worked on the choreographing of all of it. And at the end, they started playing Dirty Dancing. And so one of the guys in the group, all the other guys were clumped together in a corner, and one went off to the side of the stage and, nodded his head just like Baby from Dirty Dancing and ran to these guys, and they lifted him up and they did the swan dive from Dirty Dancing. So that was super fun. My other, due to us needing to always raise money, the quickest fundraiser we ever did was when part of the guys, when they performed, they were the Village People. And they did the YMCA. Now, it was the traditional YMCA song. However, with it being a ladies' luncheon and these men dressed up as the Indian and as the biker and as the construction worker, these women turned it into a Tuck the Buck. So they were running up on stage. There's videos on YouTube. But going up on stage and tucking money into Mike's leather jacket because he was the biker, or my husband Dan laying on the stage and taking money And it was the best thing. We made hundreds and hundreds of dollars in like 3 minutes. And the women loved and expected that song at the event at every single rest of the comedy luncheons that we did.
And it wasn't planned like that. I mean, they
No.
were just up there.
Performing.
It was just a group of guys that were just simply up there doing the YMCA. They thought that it would be a nice send off. They didn't expect anything. And then all of a sudden it turned into this huge, it wasn't even pandemonium, but it was just the energy in that room were just, it was incredible.
Well, but of course, the way, just like you do, Mike did everything the right way and all out. So Mike went online and found the costumes. So the guys on stage, they looked like they were true performers of the YMCA. Again, they worked on the choreography, so they were all in sync, so they didn't look goofy. But yeah, I don't know who decided, which lady in the audience decided, let's go tuck a buck, but thank you for doing that, because it was really awesome. And the guys looked forward to doing it every year, and the ladies certainly, that was the highlight of the entire event. Not the auction, not the makeovers, not anything else, not the red light specials that we did of giveaways you could buy. It was the guys being on stage and performing, and the YMCA.
Well, and yes. And so we graduated from that. So the very last big event that we did was probably at that venue. We were at the largest venue in our town. Like
right.
we couldn't get any bigger than what we were. And I think it was maybe 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And they started off with the same group of guys that did the YMCA. They started off with Beauty School Dropout. And then at the end, I don't think that they did the YMCA that year. They did Full Regalia Kiss.
Yes.
So they had the hair and the makeup, and they sang, I can't remember what Kiss song it was, but they sang, and it was just all out. It was crazy. Wow. And we had both mobile day spas inside. So not only were they doing Kiss, but we were doing makeovers in each mobile day. I mean, the thing was just huge.
It was massive. And the best part, I do believe one of the Kiss songs they did was I Wanna Rock and Roll All Night.
Yes.
And the best part, as Mike is singing, and again, Mike was a performer. He had a beautiful voice. So, of course, Mike is singing like Gene Simmons, and Red, who was the drummer, was sitting as the drummer. Now, he had a mini kid's drum set, and he had a little stool. So he would act like he was playing da-da-da-da-da, and then he would pick his drum set up and turn around so people on the other side could see him drumming also, and then would do it again. Oh my gosh. And then the ladies got pictures with them afterwards.
Yes, they did. Yes, afterwards. We set them up. There was a line for them to get pictures with Kiss afterwards.
We should have charged. We should have totally charged for pictures. We didn't. There was a line of people getting pictures.
There was.
My husband loves that picture. You actually got him a poster size of the picture that they have as just the Kiss group.
That's right.
And again, they went full out.
It was awesome. And they loved it. But you know what? The next morning, I remember we would always take that day off. It was like, I always said that event was kind of like a wedding from hell, because it took you like 9-10 months to plan it. And then it was all gone in one day. And we would take the next day off. And then Monday, you would just start planning all over again.
Right.
And you just, it never stopped. It just kept going. And so that one was so big. And so we were like, I can't top it. Like every year we would just keep topping it. I'm like, I can't top this. And so we stopped doing the big event because it got to the point where it was taking more time to plan the event than it was to build the organization.
That's right.
And so we just we did something else. But one of the other ones that was very unique, I think part of what it is to coming up with a successful fundraiser is the uniqueness of it, doing something different. So the other one that we did, which again was so close to Michael's heart, he would get so mad when he would drive around town and people would have like those, the 5K stickers on the back of their car, or the 26.2 stickers on the back of the car. And he's like, you know what? I'm not a runner. He goes, I want one that says 0.0 or 0.5, the 0.5K. And so that's what we did. So we actually ran a fundraiser that Michael always wanted to run, and it was called the Polish Buffet and the 0.5K. And so it was just around a block. That was the walk. It was a true walk. We had a shotgun start. They played the national anthem before the walkers got started. There was a water stand halfway around the half a block so that they could come back. When everybody came back, they were awarded a medal, which was a Reese's peanut butter cup that was on a ribbon. And so everybody got the medal. We had this big window. It was so fun. And people fundraised for it. It was a great fundraiser. And then they came back after their walk. Then they ended up getting a Polish buffet.
That's right. That's right.
And so I think, part of it is the uniqueness now. So we just finished with an event, a golf outing.
Yes.
And again, we try and make it so that it's so good for just all of our attendees.
That's right.
And the weather was perfect. It just seemed to go. I mean, there wasn't anything. There isn't anything that we would change.
No, not at all.
It was so good.
It was so good. And again, we had to tweak things.
We did.
With COVID, there were things. It could not be the traditional golf outing that we had in the past. We had to show that we took the precautions and we did all the things to keep people as safe as possible so they could come out and enjoy themselves, to be able to be a part of it. And so it was great. Oh my gosh. Like, as you said, weather was fantastic. We had people at registration. They had their masks on. We made sure that social distancing was there. The luncheon at the end was outside. We really just took everything. We listened. We just listened.
Right. And it was a big success. And so we want to set, we've had all of these fundraisers. We've been in existence for 14 years, and we probably have done 50 fundraisers, if not more. But here's 3 of the big things that we have found that have helped us become successful event planners and fundraisers, even though that's not our main focus.
Yes.
But if we're not successful at fundraising, then we can't help the women that we serve.
That's right. So grab your pen and paper. You're going to want to write this down.
Right. So the number one thing that you have to do is you have to prepare.
Absolutely.
So it's all of the work that we did prior to the event that made the event successful. So when we would do the big comedy luncheons, we spent Sundays putting auction items together and taking pictures of the items so that we could do the mobile bidding. And it was all the costumes were in place. And for this last one, it was that we had somebody that alphabetized the golfers, because if they would walk up to registration and we would say what team you were on, they didn't know what team they were on. So we did it by last name so that it was easier for them. We created a sheet that was a checkout sheet. So if you wanted a mulligan or a grass skirt, we just wrote the number of items that you wanted, and then one person added all of that up and checked it out.
Right.
But it was all of the preparedness in advance. You can't just show up and throw it together.
No.
And not expect it to go smoothly.
No.
But part of our success is all of the work that we did prior to the event that made the event successful.
That's right.
The second thing that we have found it was just a huge thing was making sure that we listened.
Amen.
So talk to that point about listening.
Right. We truly wanted to make the event the best it could be. So asking questions, what did you like? What didn't you like? One of the things that was encouraged to us was that there are some pretty intense golfers that come to our event, and then there are some that are not as intense. And the intense golfers felt like it took longer because they got behind people who were just out there kind of being silly and having fun. So our team was able to put some specific golfers towards the front, so they were able to get out there and be more serious, where the other ones were able to be in the back and take their time. And that was huge. These golfers actually came up to one of our members, Amy, and just said, or she went over to them. They were the first place winner, and she went over to them and said, hey, we took what you said and we put that into play, and they just raved and were just so appreciative that was the fastest golf outing that they had done, and it was great. The second one was we were planning on doing food inside the country club. But due to COVID, so many people were concerned that we were able to listen to them and took that in advance. So we made sure that the breakfast food was outside and pre-boxed and ready, and that the lunch food, same thing. Everything was outside, so you were able to social distance.
And that one actually was to the point of number 3,
yes,
which was being flexible.
Absolutely.
So you have to prepare. You need to, in advance, then you need to listen to what your guests say and meet their needs. And then the third one was be flexible, especially during COVID this year. We didn't have a choice except to be flexible.
That's right.
If you're too rigid, then there's no way that it can be a successful event.
You are so right. And to be able to have a great team. So the Knollwood Country Club that we work with, that team is so amazing, and they are so willing to adapt where they can. that was huge because we did have to be flexible.
Right.
You do have to be able to make it work.
That's right. Well, thank you. I'm excited that we got to do this together. Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We are almost out of time. So I just want to say thank you to Trisha. And if you have any questions or want to know more about fundraising or help fundraising, you can reach out to me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org. You can visit our website to learn more about Hello Gorgeous, which is www.hellogorgeous.org. And we invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker. And until next time, stay gorgeous.
Another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that. I remember